Open your eyes. So the best basic tenet of even yoga was, or Patanjali, as Patanjali said, life is an illusion. And we always keep on saying that life is an illusion. But if I may ask, what is this illusion? What is actually meant by this illusion? And it means that when we are far from something, when we are at a distance from something, then this increases, this illusion increases. And when we are near, then it decreases. Now, this is a very simplest of the simple definition of illusion, and it tells a lot. If you really understand this definition of illusion, then you can understand that our whole life is nothing but illusory every moment. For example, a girl looks pretty, and she will always be pretty with the condition that you are not allowed to meet her. The meeting starts, and slowly everything becomes normal, chaotic. And in case marriage happens, then that girl may very well turn into the most ugliest of the creature. Someone you were really mad about, on seeing that someone your heart would beat out, would now mean nothing at all. Your heart would now not skip a bit now that you have her. Now, this is very interesting. She was far off and she was really pretty, the prettiest of the people on the earth. If somebody asked you, how pretty is your lover, and you would say there is nothing more beautiful than her, no one more beautiful than her, and now she is one of the ugliest ones. So illusion is when it is very far off, then it is illusory, and when it is very near, that illusion is something else. In reality, husbands stops looking at wives, and even when they see someone else's wives, not their own. The marriage and the entire illusion is gone. Entire illusion and the entire love is gone. The illusion is there. The love has disappeared. So interestingly, what you don't have look really valuable to you. It is really valuable if it is not there. And once it is there, then all the value is lost. And that is the reason Shankaracharya has called it. Shankaracharya was born around 1,000 years ago. So Shankaracharya called this life, this word a lie, this word a illusion, this word a maya. Maya is an illusion. Maya only meant something when you go near it goes away. And when you are far, this illusion increases. Many people think, in fact, most of the people think that all rich people are really happy in their palaces, in their mansions. And this is what is your thought as well. But in reality, not all rich people are languishing in happiness. But then you would not know this until you become rich yourself. And that is how the running is going on. And you would not know it until you become rich and then you go to those palaces and you start living in those palaces. Your journey to those palaces, those mansions, those big houses will teach you something. And then you will say, only then you will say, where I come from, there is nothing much here. But then those who are passing by now are saying that how happy you are in your palace. And so the circle of life goes on and on. In fact, you would be surprised to know that all 24 Tirthankaras, I don't have any parallel word for it. Tirthankara is an ancient word. Tirthankaras are, you can call them the gods in Jainism. There are 24 Tirthankaras. And all these 24 Tirthankaras, gods in Jainism, are sons of kings. Interestingly, Buddha was a prince, Mahavira was a prince. All Hindu avatars are sons of kings. And if you ask me why, unless you have become a king or a prince, the illusion does not go, it does not break. This is very interesting. The king or a prince means someone who has everything. And when someone has everything, only then someone can see the meaninglessness in it. Only then someone can see the uselessness of it. A Tirthankara can only be a king's son. It is difficult that a son of a poor person can be a Tirthankara. Not because any taboo is there or not because any hurdle is there. It can be so. Not because Jainism has put any particular conditions on it or Hinduism has put some conditions on it. There are no conditions by anybody. But this is what the life is. Because otherwise it is very difficult as this illusion is there. If you are far from it, it won't go. If you are poor and not rich, this illusion of the happiness and the richness won't go. Only when you go near it, only when you become rich, only when you have a palace and the hordes of wealth, then only it will go away. In the West, all hurdles between a male and a female has been removed. In the West, people can have multiple relations. Female can have multiple relations and man can have multiple relations. And that is why, interestingly, the illusion of sex, which was there throughout the history, which was there for a very long time, is now no more. And that is why now people are even bored of sex. And they are asking more than simple sex. So now the drugs are widespread. Now there are multiple ways of engaging in sex. The new drugs are there, the effective ways are there, the effective ways in which the drugs are made. Every day the new drugs are coming up. That illusion is gone. That is why ancient people were very smart, as they created hurdles between two sexes. And so the attachment was there. And attachment was always there. In India, not long ago, in fact, a couple of decades back, a husband would not get to see the wife the entire day. They would only meet in the night because the families were joint families. The elders were there, so they could not talk. They could not they could not embrace. They could not kiss because the elders would be sitting around. All the kids would be sitting around. So there would be a lot of distance between husband and wife in not so old India. The attraction between them always remained the entire life. And so there was no need for divorce because the attraction was there. Divorces were unheard of in India. Some time back now they are, of course. We are also reaching there. So it was unheard of. But as the nuclear families have come in, now it is becoming a norm. So the more you know life, the more useless life would be seen. The more meaningless life would be seen as you know it. And when something becomes useless when you know it, always remember this, and this is very important. When something becomes useless when you know it, then of course it is an illusion. And something which is meaningful when you know it, then it is the truth. This is the hypothesis. This is the condition. And that is why when you go to someone and you feel that there is more to this, then there is more truth to this. Now that is beyond illusion. And that is why I call the Paramatma, the God, beyond illusion. Because as you move towards the God more and more, as you move towards your pratyahara more and more, as you move towards your meditation more and more, it would seem there is something more. As you go near it, it does not seem as if there is a waste. It would seem that truthful. The more truth there, the more curiosity is there, the more mystery is there. Because as you go near illusion, it will go away. More useless it would seem. Now, this is a really sweet thing. This is really nice. As Nachiketa went to the door of death, Nachiketa went to the door of death. If you remember, we talked about it. And then he knocked and found that the death was not at home. Now this is really really interesting. Nachiketa went to the Yam's door, the god of death, and then he found that the Yam was not there. The god of death was not there. In fact, I would say you should do the same. And in the coming days, I'll send you the assignment on WhatsApp, what to do, how to do this exercise. I'll give you an exercise. I'll send you the complete exercise on WhatsApp about this door of death. I'll tell you on WhatsApp how to do this, and then you'll find that there is no death. There is indeed no death. When you knock on the death, there is indeed no death. As death is a lie, the biggest lie, and we are made fearful of death. We are made fearful of this life, and we are always made to run from it. Our entire discourse in this living, eat this, do this exercise, do that, and that is to run away from that. Nachiketa sat on the fast, and for 3 days he was sitting on the fast to meet the death. 3 days fast. Now try to understand what does it mean by 3 days fasting. The life as we know it runs on the food, as we all know. And if you want to feel the death, then stop partaking the food. And that is why fasting became a very important process in India. Fasting means you are stopping. You are stopping the life. You are putting a full stop to the life as we know it. In fact, as we know it, Lord Mahavir helped reach this science of fasting to its pinnacle. He only had food for 365 days in 12 years. He only ate for 1 year in 12 years. In his sadhana of 12 years, of course. So he sometime ate a month, he sometime ate 2 months, he sometime did not eat for 3 months. And that 3 months, that 90 days are the limit. If you are healthy, then you can live for 90 days without food. Now, it's very interesting. After 90 days, your time will come, the moment will stuck, you won't move, your life force will not be there in that moment. And in that moment, you will see slowly the death creeping in and the life force is going away. So when the body is like dead after 90 days, but you see that you are not dead, the work of the fasting is done. You actually see the death coming in and the life is going out, but you are not dead. So Mahavira achieved that. And through fasting, then you are going near to the nirvana. You are going near to the enlightenment. Fasting can be a faster way to achieve this. That's what the scripture says. This is one of the ways. There are several ways. So, but in reality today, even those who are fasting do not know what is this process, what they are doing. Fasting is a very microscopic, it's a very minute process. As the life force gets lesser and lesser in the body, as your life is moving out of the body, always remember that as the life is moving out of the body, if you are fasting for the long time, you know, then awareness should increase. The more and more awareness should come in. Always remember that when there is a decrease in your life force, then the darkness which is there is going out. The tiredness inside, and you will know that something is not right. If you are feeling tired, if you are feeling dead inside, even with the life force moving out, then the awareness has not yet come. It means something is going wrong about even the fasting. Because awareness should increase, consciousness should enhance. And then comes the time when the body is like dead, but you are full of life. In that moment, you will know that food does not give you life. Now, this is a realization. Food is just a fuel to the body, not for the consciousness. This is the realization. You can keep eating and you may not be conscious. And in fact, most of the time, that is the case with the normal people. We are eating unconsciously all the time. So, this story of death, Kathopnishad, as we call it, is just symbolic. Every line, every moment, every sentence in this book is symbolic. Nachiketa's fasting is symbolic, fasting for 3 days. If you start finding fact in this, that he went to the door of death, you will be lost in the meaningless maze if you try to find fact. There are many ways in which we can enter into sadhana or samadhi as we call it, and fasting can be one of those. And if someone is entering in that fashion through that door, he can reach early as death is there, because death is just 90 days beyond. Body works on twin process. Why does this happen? Why 90 days? Because body works on this process. If you stop taking outside food, you will have trouble for a week. You will feel very hungry. You will have the craving for the food. But after a week, the trouble will stop. And interestingly, you won't feel hungry. Your hunger will go away. Because now your body has started digesting your own flesh, your own meat. And then, only then your weight will drop very drastically. Almost like a 1 or 2 pound every day, your weight will drop. Where is this weight going? Your body starts digesting your own weight, your own flesh, the meat inside. You are taking food, the body becomes the food. This is what is the twin process. So your body has some food inside and you are digesting it. And this will end in 3 months' time. 3 months, 90 days. And after 90 days, only the bones will remain and the death will happen after 90 days. If you are healthy enough, of course, few days here and there. After 90 days, the death will present itself. So these 3 days of Nachiketa on the fasting is symbolic. That this is also the way to know the death. So now the god of death went to Nachiketa after 3 days and asked him 3 boons. Why 3 boons? Because he did the fasting for 3 days. That's how we understand now. So anyone who will do fasting, long fasting, will have lot of power to come to. Now, see, the fasting brings you lot of power. So Nachiketa is fasting for 3 days and 3 boons, because after fasting, Nachiketa is now getting all the boons. 3 boons. 3 wishes, you can call them. So now the power is coming to Nachiketa. So after fasting, lot of power will come to you. The power which is hidden inside. And there is a possibility, there is always a possibility that the person gets embroiled, get corrupted when the power comes in. Patanjali has always talked about this in our Yoga Sutras. Patanjali has mentioned in yoga that through fasting, the power can come. So the first boon that he asked was this, that his father, Udhyalak, that his father becomes happy, because father became unhappy because he sent Nachiketa to the god of death. So he said the first boon that he asked is, my father be happy, my father be free of anger, my father be free of guilt. And when I go back, he should put trust in me and he should accept me lovingly like a son. The first boon. So now, interestingly, someone who has been sent to death, because his father sent him to death. Who sent somebody to death? The enemy. The father became the enemy here. Whatever was the cause, whatever was the reason, the father became the enemy here. The first boon was for the father. The first boon was for goodwill for him. The first boon was to ask for the happiness for him. Ordinarily, death is a very big thing. If someone even says, few bad words to us, someone says some, unhappy words to us, we would want bad things for him. We would curse him, and if possible, we can even go and ask death for him. He would seem to be an enemy to us. If somebody bangs your car, or maybe even put a scratch, banging is a big word. Somebody puts a scratch on your car, and you would say, the guy, let him go to death. But he is asking for goodwill, he is asking for love of his father. Buddha has said that if your prayers are not for your enemies, if your prayers are not for your enemies, then your prayers are all wasted. And Jesus has said that even if you have one enemy, then go back and ask for forgiveness from him. Only then come to this temple of God. Because before that, no prayer is complete. Even if you have one enemy, no prayer is complete. If someone is stuck into your mind, and most of the time that is the case, most of the time, in fact, every day we have people we have people we curse, we have people we feel very bad about. Somebody has done something bad to us or said bad to us, or whatever is the reason. So if someone is stuck into your mind like a thorn, then remove that thorn, otherwise flowers will never bloom. The flowers will never come to your life. So Nachiketa said, my father becomes calm, my father becomes peaceful, and when I return he accepts me with love. Such a difficult task. But look at this, such an important task. Difficult because Nachiketa would return after having known the death. Now, this is very important. Nachiketa is saying, after I return from death, now who has returned from death? And somebody who is returning from death, how that person would be like? He would be somebody else. He would be a very knowledgeable person. It would be very difficult for the father to accept a wise son, because he would be one of the most wisest of the person who knows the death, who knows the reason, who knows the mysteries of the death. In fact, it has always been very difficult for fathers to accept wise sons, and same goes with the mother and daughters as well. Second thing that Nachiketa asks is something that would take him beyond death. The first is for the father. The first boon is to ask happiness for the father. And the second boon is to say that, take me beyond the death. Now, who can take you beyond death? Who can take you beyond death? Only the death can take you beyond death. Only the death can give you that boon. Those who want to know how to go beyond death, how to know how to know what is beyond this life, can only know once they have transgressed the death, once they have known the death, through the death. So then Yam said, I'll give you this knowledge, and you will know. You will know what is hidden in the deepest caves. What is hidden in the deepest cave full of fires? Now, what are these deepest caves? What is the fire? This story is very symbolic. If you take the story in a literal fashion, then you don't learn anything. It's just an stories. It's just an story. And most of the stories are like this. So what is this cave? What is this fire that he is talking about? And now the understanding is, this fire is within you. If you can understand the fire, this body is actually one of the elements of the body is fire. As we know, the body is composed of 5 elements. The water is there, the space is there, the fire is there, the earth is there. The body is composed of all of these elements. The fire is one of a very essential element. This fire is within you, and if you understand this, and through this fire you will know the death. Through this fire you can transgress this death. You will achieve that param sukh, the deepest of the happiness. You will achieve that ultimate freedom. And this ultimate freedom is within you only. There is nowhere else to go for it. And the interesting part is, you are the master of this ultimate happiness. You are the master of this fire. You are the source of this nectar. But the sadness is, we know nothing about it. The sadness is that we have not been taught. This is something which we don't think about. This is something which is not there in our schools and universities and colleges. So again, we return, if you see the difference, the similarity between the story of death, Kathopnishad, and the Yoga Sutras, you will find a lot of similarities. Even when we are talking of death and we have just started the story, you will find a lot of similarity between the Yoga Sutras that we have learned and this story of Kathopnishad. Everything is inside. So as I always say, and as the saints and the wise people always say, there is this sutra in Ishavasya Upanishad, Purnamadya Purnamidam. I have told this sutra so many times that only one sutra is enough. And even that sutra will go away, even that mantra will go away once you understand it. There is no need to amass more knowledge if you go inside. All the effort of mine is so that you go inside, so that you find yourself, so that you find that freedom, so that you find that nectar which is all inside you. It is not lying anywhere else. It is not in the money that you will earn. It is not in the people that you will love. It is all inside you. And once you have it, then it is eternal. So, entire effort that I'm putting is to help you go inside because that's where the joy is. I'll stop here today. If there are any questions, anything, please feel free to ask. And I've recorded it today, so the recording will also be available. And for those who don't have my phone number, they can actually let me put it there. Aqua, you can have my phone number. You can send me. I'll add you to the group. So the recording will also be available at where is it? Chat, okay. It is 009196105052 6. So this is my number. Uh, most of you are there. In fact, all of you are there except Apua. So you can send me a message if you want to be included in the group, and then I can include you. Feel free to ask any questions, anything that comes to your mind.
I am totally confused about the death and the fire part. The fire, the nature of this fire that takes beyond the death. Is it similar in nature to what we say the fire in people, them, or like somebody drive or desire? Is this something similar or it's different?
Fire here is the energy that you have, and we have more energy than we think. I have given this fact. I have told this fact so many times, Komal, that Second World War very well proved this. Because in Second World War we dropped this bomb and we could break few atoms, as we talked about it. And if the few atoms have so much power that hundreds of thousands of people could die, the area which was, I think, to the tune of like some 50 kilometers area totally got barren. Now, if few atoms can do it, we are made up of billions and trillions of atoms. So think about the power that is within us. We also talk in terms of Kundalini Jagran or Kundalini awakening, if you've heard that word. What is that Kundalini awakening? The Kundalini awakening is that power where even each and every atom that is inside your body, you have you have exploited, or exploitation is it's not a good word, but you know the power of that atom that is now available to you. Right now it is not available to you. Right now we sleep the entire night, we eat something in the morning, and we gather some power, and then we just waste of that power. How can we keep that power inside us? So yoga is that, meditation is that, sadhana is that, samadhi is that. So don't underestimate the power inside you. Don't underestimate that fire inside you, the Agni inside you. This is Agni. This is enormous. It can move mountains. And Patanjali talked about this. In Kathopnishad, the Rishi is talking about this. In all our scriptures, this Agni is always being talked about this. And the parallel is, if you know, we used to do yagna. This yagna, I don't know what is the meaning, English word for it, but we ignite fire and we do yagna. So yag basically is symbolic of that fire within. So what we do is we light fire outside. If you are doing some, some event, some auspicious occasion, we light fire outside, and then we put some herbs into that fire, and then that herbs has a smell in the house or wherever we are doing it, and that this fire, this Agni, is known to move the mountains. The kings used to do it before they go for wars. Now, this is again symbolic. All of this is symbolic over a period of time, over this last couple of thousands of years when the knowledge has lost. We have lost all this knowledge. Now it is all only symbolic, and that is why we are nonplussed as to what is this? What is this fire? What is this Agni? We lost a lot of knowledge in the last couple of thousand. In fact, Nalanda University, when it was burnt, the library was burnt in Nalanda University, and that library, it just went on for 6 months. Such a huge library it was. So much knowledge we lost in those, and it had happened in so many of our ancient universities. The fire is all inside you, and the only way to ignite the fire is to go inside. You don't need any other fire outside, any other Agni outside, right? The desire will burn in those fires. All the pain will burn in those fires. All the attachment, everything will go in those fires, and so we have to ignite it. Pratyahara is a start in that direction.
In simpler terms, Komal, if I'm right, I think fire is here to sanctify you from your natures, right? From your all kinds of human natures and all that stuff, like jealousy, anger, greed, and all that stuff, and sanctify you and take you towards it more eternally.
Yeah,
right?
it all came back.
That's what it's for. Fire just to
Yeah.
sanctification process.
So basically, Yoga Sutra. So basically, Komal, Yoga Sutra 101.
Exactly. As I actually started associating the fire with one of the five elements. Actually, it's the energy that we talk about. And I fall back.
So scientifically, actually, that is true because we are made up of fire. So we are made up of water, we are made up of fire, we are made up of space, we are made up of earth, we are made up of all these elements. In fact, when somebody, I always give this example. Recently, my wife fell ill. So this is the thing. Why I could not take class because we went to mountains. So we had to go to this place called Rupin Pass. So Rupin Pass is around, I think, 15,000 feet height. So we had to go to Chandigarh, which is around 500 kilometers from Jaipur. And from Chandigarh, then we traveled to Shimla, and from Shimla, even beyond, deepest into the mountains, 200 kilometers away. So we went till Shimla, and my wife fell ill. She was actually having some fever right from the start, but we traveled anyway. But there, the fever got more, and so we could not do this journey. We had to return. Now, my wife is a naturopath, and so when we came back, and people knew that she's running with fever, so everybody is calling and saying that, have you taken the medicine? Have you gone to the doctor? And she said that there's no need. And for the last couple of days, the last 6 7 days, she has not taken even a single pill, and now she's completely okay. What she did was, though, is to intake the intake of food has gone down drastically. So she kept fasting for a day or two, and then she is taking very very less food. So because whatever energy that the food gives is actually spent away in our daily shows. Even if a thought is coming to your mind, there is some energy associated with that thought. The thought takes away. If you don't do anything at all, you are just sitting at one place and you are having thoughts, all your energy will go away. So she did nothing, just she's just, doing nothing. She's resting, and entire her body got rejuvenated just by that. And people are saying that the dengue is there, people are saying so many infections are there. All the infection went away just because she's taking less food and she's not doing anything at all. She's just resting. So body has a way to rejuvenate itself. We have all the fires which is needed inside. The body can do it. There is no need for any pill. There is no need for any pharmaceutical numbo jumbo. But that's what we do because that's what we have been taught. So these five elements are very important. Body is made up of these five elements. And if body is made up of these five elements, how can you be cured with something else? I mean, of course, if you are meeting, if you are met with an accident, of course, you need to go to hospitals or for some serious things. I'm not saying you should not, but otherwise, for common ailments, for simple things, you can do without medicine.
Absolutely.
Mm. So, any other thing? Any other questions? Any problem in
It's very nice.
understanding this? Yeah, please, Jason, go on.
It's very nice how you put the illusion aspect into it and
Illusion, yeah,
understanding illusion and all the stuff, the fasting part, how it helps the body, all the stuff.
it is actually very
People have
simple.
different perception about illusion,
Yeah. So it is actually very simple. We just makes it complicated. We complicate everything. That's the human tendency. Because if it is not complicated, how can you sell it? You cannot sell simple things. It is like that. So, are you? Is everybody okay with the story of Nachiketa? Is there some missing link that you have not understood? Is everything on the line? Anything not clear? Because I keep getting back and forth, keep talking about the boons, and then something maybe there which is not very understandable. If somebody don't have the background for it, is everything clear? we can always revert
Nitya,
back to we can always revert back to
I
Yoga Sutras. Hmm?
I don't know if I missed it, but you mentioned about the 3-day fasting by Nachiketa. When did that happen, and what was the significance of that? Maybe I missed it, or I don't know.
Okay, so story of Kathopnishad starts from this yagna. That is this this this. There is a king called as Udyalak. The name of the king is
Yeah,
Udyalak,
that
and he's doing
that I
that
that
you
I
that you
remember.
know.
Yeah.
So basically, king is donating the cows to the Brahmins,
Mm-hmm.
and Nachiketa saw those cows, and those cows are very old. That now they cannot give milk. So Nachiketa is telling his father, asking his father, now you are donating these cows which are old, and in the yag, you have to donate your loved ones. You have to donate everything that you love. That is the meaning of yag. So Nachiketa, of course, asked, when will you donate me? Because I am also your loved one when you're donating these cows and everything. So, and so he asked, and then father did not reply. Then he asked again, and the father did not reply. And then he asked for the third and the fourth time. And of course, father got angry. Uddalak got angry, and then he said, "I give you to the Lord God of death, Lord of death. I give you to the Lord of death." And then, of course, father repented. But then, once it is done, it is done. In those ancient times, so, these are stories. And so now Nachiketa goes to the door of death. he goes to Yam, because Yam is the god of death. So now he goes to the door of death. He goes to there, but the door is closed. The god of death is not there in his house. He has gone outside for 3 days. So Nachiketa wait outside the door, the house of death, for 3 days without food or without water. Right? After 3 days, when Yam returned, the god of death returns. Then he saw that a small boy of 9 years of age is sitting outside without food and water, and his wife tells him that he is sitting outside for 3 days without food and water, and he is the son of a Brahmin. He is a Brahmin himself, and you should not be doing this to a Brahmin. So call him inside and give him food and water. So God of Death calls Nachiketa inside, but says that since you have been fasting, you have not had food for 3 days, so I give you three boons. I give you three wishes. And we are talking about those three wishes. The first wish is, of course, as I said, he asked for the happiness of his father, because he saw that the father became angry and the father became sad and the father became full of guilt. That's how the story goes on. That was the first wish. The second wish is he asked to know more about the death. What is this death? Because everybody is puzzled about death. He asked for that. We'll come to the third wish as the time goes on. Right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how the
Thank
story
you, sir.
goes on. Okay. So, but always feel free to ask me if there's any missing link in the story. And sometime I also wonder whether I'm making sense when I'm talking about this, to be honest. Because talking about Yoga Sutra is a different thing, and talking in terms of story is a very different thing. Because sometimes a story has a context. And since I'm born here in India, I have a context because we have been taught these stories for a very long time. We understand these stories. But somebody coming from US, of course, most of you are Indian here, but somebody coming from US may not have the context, or coming from another country, that what are these stories about. So in case you are losing the meaning, in case you are losing the context, do tell me. And of course, we can always revert back to Yoga Sutras. That is not a problem. I love Yoga Sutras. We can always revert back to Patanjali. So always feel free to give me your opinion. Always feel free to give me your feedback in case something is missing or something is not right. Or if you have any questions about any of the lectures I have taken, please feel free to do so. You can just post on the WhatsApp. Okay, sounds good. Okay then. Thanks for listening so patiently. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Sandeep ji. Thank you.
Namaste.